Welcome to the next episode of What's Crap on WhatsApp, the voice note show that investigates the crap shared in your WhatsApp groups. I'm Andisua May from podcasting company Volume.
And I'm Taryn Curry from Africa Check, the continent's leading fact-checking organization. Today we've got a special episode lined up for you. We're taking a deep dive into election misinformation.
We'll be investigating recent claims made by the African National Congress, or ANC.
Explaining why it's important to debunk misinformation ahead of national elections in South Africa.
And giving you tips to spot and debunk election misinformation.
Let's get to it.
Ahead of national elections later this year, the ANC held their January 8th statement, an annual event marking the party's anniversary.
Mindful of complex moments both at home and globally, President Cyril Ramaphosa spoke of the significant improvements that had taken place in South Africa over the last 30 years, made possible by his party.
He made several claims about access to basic services, employment, and the economy. Let's take a closer look at some of them.
I know of no country, certainly on our continent and in other continents as well, that has built houses, 4.7 million, and given them to our people mahala.
With this claim, Ramaphosa appears to have deviated from the version of his speech published on the ANC website, which said that through the provision of houses, subsidies, and service sites, government has managed to provide 4.7 million homes.
It is correct that the Department of Human Settlements has provided about 4.8 million housing opportunities since 1994.
But a housing opportunity is not the same as a house. Housing opportunities include several categories of government housing, which range from newly constructed housing to bare plots of land which have only been connected to utilities.
Looking just at the number of physical houses, we counted a total of 3,459,965.
The claim is therefore misleading. At Africa Check, we apply this rating when elements of the claim are accurate, but presented in a way that is misleading. Watch out for more of these as we get closer to the election.
89% of households in our country now have access to water.
So, Taryn, give us the lowdown on access to water.
Well, Stats SA, the country's data agency, tracks households' access to basic services every 2 years in its General Household Survey. The latest survey covers 2022 and supports Ramaphosa's claim, but the quality of water in the country's supply systems is an issue.
According to a recent assessment by the Water Department, almost half of South Africa's water supply systems achieved poorly or bad quality compliance with standards set out for safe, clean drinking water.
That's right. During election season, we often fact-check claims that are accurate, but the context is also important.
Ramaphosa went on to claim that 85% of South African homes have access to electricity. Did he get that right as well?
Yep. And here Ramaphosa missed an opportunity to claim an even higher figure. In 2022, 89.6% of households had access to mains electricity.
The number of South Africans who are now in employment have increased from 8 million. When we got into office, there were only 8 million South Africans who were in formal employment. Namhlanje, we have 16.7 million South Africans who are now employed.
This is an interesting claim. Isn't it difficult to compare figures in this way?
It is tricky. Let's start with the 1994 figures. Stats SA estimated that a total of 8.9 million people were employed that year. By claiming a lower figure, Ramaphosa has exaggerated the progress made since then. This is another common phenomenon when it comes to election misinformation.
And what about his claim about employment figures today?
The latest data from Stats SA shows that between July and September 2023, 16.745 million people were employed. But comparing only raw numbers is problematic, because while the raw number of employed people has increased, so has the working age population, aged 15 to 64, from 24.6 million in 1994 to 40.9 million today.
Ah, that makes sense. Is there a more accurate way to compare then?
An expert said we could look at the ratio of those employed compared to the working age population. This stood at 41% in 2024, which is approximately the same as in 1994.
So, another misleading claim.
Yep.
So, Taryn, why is it important to dig deeper into the claims that political parties make ahead of an election?
Well, at election time, voters have to make a decision about their future. Now, this decision may be based on personal preference or ideology, but it's also based on information political parties share.
And if voters want to make an informed decision, they need information based on facts.
Right. But there's another important reason why facts matter during an election, and it relates to policy. A record number of political parties will be competing to govern South Africa. Should they win, they will take their facts and misperceptions into government.
That's a great point. South Africa faces problems on a number of fronts. To solve them, any government will need an accurate understanding of these problems. A wrong understanding of how many houses the government has provided, for example, could have serious policy implications.
Exactly. Misconceptions could send us down the wrong road and waste valuable resources. We need our government and its officials to be well informed. The wrong information won't help us make the right decisions.
But it's not just political parties that need to commit to getting their facts right. The public also has an important role to play. It is an integral cog in social media and the online space. We all need to take care to not share information that may be incorrect.
Well, luckily we've got some tips to guide our subscribers.
The first is to pause before sharing anything election related. Ask yourself whether the information sounds reasonable and do a quick Google search to see if it's been shared by credible sources online.
It's also important to understand the context of the issues being publicly debated. Unpack all the angles of the conversation and identify how those angles are being abused to further social divisions and spread disinformation. If a message or social media post immediately makes you scared or angry, it's good practice to verify first.
For photos, a reverse image search using Google Images, TinEye, or Yandex will show you where else online the image has previously appeared.
And if you're still in doubt, Africa Check is on standby to assist. Send us the election claims you need debunked and we'll see what we can do. That's all the time we have for today. Now you know what's crap and what's not.
Your friends and family can sign up for our show over WhatsApp. The number is 082-709-3527. Make sure to save us as a contact in your phone and send us a message.
You can find the show wherever you get your podcasts, from Apple to Spotify. If you listen there, you'll find show notes and a link to the fact checks.
Remember that you can send us a WhatsApp message, a picture, video, link, or voice note that you need fact checked. Just forward them to us on WhatsApp. Our theme song is composed by John Bartman. I'm Andisuame.
And I'm Taryn Curry. Bye for now.